I just love just kind of taking that risk. And because I'm like, the risk to me, just to stay in that one position would be more of a risk than to take the risk. But when the time is right, you'll know you're either gonna stay or you're gonna jump and go for it.
I heard a quote a couple months ago. It's like the biggest risk is not taking any risk at all. What's going on, and welcome to the Take a Step podcast. I'm your host, Josh Johnston, founder of Take a Step. It's a community that's focused on bringing together like-minded individuals who are all purpose-driven towards taking action to maximize their God-given potential. If you find value in this podcast, please leave a rating and review on whichever platform you're listening. It really helps us to continue to grow this community and change more lives for the better. Feel free to give me a follow on social media at __ take a step __ and reach out to me if you have any questions or just want to connect. With that being said, let's dive in. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Take a Step podcast. I'm excited for this conversation. Today we have a guest who is, a rising star, if you will, in the YouTube golf space. He's I've noticed over the past few years, he's really just been kind of grinding on a passion that he has and building a brand for himself, and started a golf apparel brand out of it. And he's just been, on the grind for a while, and I love watching it. So we got Luke Peavy on the podcast. Peavy, man, how you been?
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here, man. It's a pleasure. Well, I've been good, man. It's been a few years since we've been in class together.
Yeah, PV played golf at Truett. I played baseball, so we kind of we were around each other in the weight room a little bit. I remember the days going back into the weight
Oh
room
yeah.
with some guys. That was a good time. But no, man, I'd love to just kind of open it up to you, just to kind of get things kicked off. I love hearing how people introduce themselves, and I think it gives a good perspective on where they're at, what they're doing. So I'd love to open it up to you to just kind of introduce yourself however you see fit.
Yeah. So my name's Luke Peavy, and for work, what I do is kind of social media influencing slash personal brand. And then I have an actual company on top of that, which is Sandbagger. And yeah, I mean, I'm in the middle of getting married next year, and it's exciting times because, hey, marriage is a beautiful thing, man. It
Mhm.
is. And so I'm excited about that, and just honestly, just excited about life, man. And it's cool just to see like the stages of life. And I don't know, it's a cool stage of life right now, being in the
Yeah.
mid 20s. Everybody always talks about it. They're like, man, if I could go back, I could go back to my 20s, man. And so, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now is just there's nothing set in stone. I'm just doing my own thing, and it's fun. It is
Yeah.
fun.
Let's dive into that a little bit. I know obviously you played golf back at Truett.
Yep.
So I mean, just from the beginning, when did you start playing golf, and what kind of got you into it? Did your family play golf, or did you just kind of pick it because it's something you wanted to try out?
Yeah, so my dad did play golf, but I never went with him. I never had like my own set of clubs. And so I was playing baseball, and then I don't know, there was something about golf that was like, man, I can do this. I don't have to have somebody else like throw a ball to me or anything.
Hitting
And I
a
was like,
still ball sounded a little bit easier than hitting a moving ball.
yeah,
When you it sounds
seriously.
easier.
Yeah. And so I like somebody gave me some junior clubs, and so I went out in the backyard and just started hitting away. And so then I just became addicted, like most people do in golf,
Hmm.
and just become obsessed with it. And then I had to make a choice between baseball or golf. They didn't let me play both. And so I was like, scrap it, I'm playing golf. That was
Love it.
in eighth grade. And so eighth grade, I decided I was just playing strictly golf. So yeah, it was probably around the age of 12 was when
Did
I
you
started.
did you have a coach when you started, or did you just kind of teach yourself?
Yeah, I just taught myself, and all the way throughout really until college is when I first got a coach.
Hmm.
But yeah, so went all the way, kind of improved a lot during the first stages. Like I was shooting like 120. And then And then next thing you know, like the next year I was shooting like 80s, and the next year I just started shooting upper 70s and just ticking
So when you
away.
were getting recruited to play in college, what was your what was your handicap at that point?
I would say a good round. I was probably shooting around like 72 to 75.
Okay.
Like that was me. I was like, I was pretty pumped to shoot.
What I
And
would
so,
give to shoot that.
yeah, in the golf world, you'd be like, yeah, it's pretty late bloomer. I mean, all these kids nowadays, I mean, they're pumping out 65s.
Yeah.
They're like a freshman in high school. I'm like, holy moly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, kind of went through, and I had a few colleges I was looking at, and then Steve Patton came and recruited me. And so I decided to go to True. I actually like the layout of True. It was kind of smaller and
hmm
just kind of like the place of it, the setting of it. And yeah, ended up going there for 4 years.
Yeah.
COVID year.
Yeah, golly, yeah, because we graduated in the heart of COVID,
No.
which was a nightmare in and of itself. Because that's when I was, had whatever the opportunity was to with the draft going into 2020, because that was an opportunity for me, and navigating that was an absolute whirlwind. And I can imagine. So for you, when you were kind of wrapping up your college career, were you wanting to go the competitive route with golf, or were you planning on kind of hanging it up and just playing as an amateur from there on out?
Uh, it's a good question. I kind of wanted to just see like what would happen. And actually, to me, COVID was kind of a blessing because it kind of transformed into actually what I do today.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of time on my hands, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
hmm
Uh, I mean, dude, I took so many long walks, like dude, like hours, because I just didn't go anywhere. I didn't even go to
Yeah.
the golf course. I just hit my backyard. And so during that time, after we up and left in March, I was just like, dude, what do I do?
hmm
And I'm sure you had the same feeling, like,
Yeah.
man, do we go from here?
Yeah, because it's like, especially at that point, it was very unique because it's not like a ton of places are hiring because everywhere's shut
No.
down. And you kind of have an idea of what sounds normal. It's like, all right, let's wait out the process. Let's figure out who's hiring and start putting in applications for work. Like that was the only thing on my mind, and a lot of other people that graduated that year.
Yeah.
That's really all we were thinking about. But yeah, that's a really cool point. So, and because at that time, that's when a lot of like the obviously like the influencer space was growing at that time, and,
Oh
and
yeah.
people were getting a lot of traction because people were sitting at home, and they had nothing to do but go on. YouTube was is
Yeah.
the TV of today, right? So they
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
they figured out the personalities that they liked, and the YouTube golf space was growing, and golf as a whole exploded because of
Oh yeah.
COVID. I feel like golf caught an absolute massive following just because it was the only thing people could like. It was a sport you could
Yeah.
go out, you could kind of be away from each other but still play. So is that kind of when was the point where you were like, all right, this is actually something I'd be interested in trying?
So I'd say like through that summer, I've just played a lot of tournaments, and then I would watch a little bit of YouTube, not really even golf YouTube. I would just watch like any other YouTube.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, that would be cool. And so I was like, man, what if I just recorded golf? And like at the time, there was probably like a few of the main people, like Garrett
Yeah.
and Micah. They were like the
hmm
main people, but there really weren't like that many. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just somehow create a channel. And I did like a few like video editing back in high school.
Okay.
I was like, I'm decent at it. I'm not like the best. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And dude, I did like tons of research. Like I was looking at other golf channels. That's probably the most golf on YouTube I've ever watched.
Yeah.
And so like I was doing like what works, what doesn't work. And so I pulled the trigger, and I stepped out, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do my first video. And
I'm
this was
sure I'm just to like put a pause on it right there. I'm sure just the mindset of being like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. how much mentally did it take for you to be like, because obviously all you can think about is like, all right, people are gonna probably think I'm like trying to be this next star, like trying to put
Yeah.
myself out there. Like that's what a lot of people go through, and I know especially for me, that's kind of what I went through a little bit. Is like, all right, like who is this guy trying to be an influencer now? Like all of your friends
Yeah.
who know you. How much? I mean, how much did it take for you to just finally just like step over that barrier and just say, you know what, screw it, I'm doing it.
Yeah. So after the research, I was like, well, I guess I got to film my first video. And so, like, well, so I filmed it, edited it, and then I was just like, all right. I say, here we go. And I posted like 2 days before Christmas for some weird reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, so I went back for my COVID year for golf, and I was like, day in the life of a college golfer.
I remember that.
And so I posted, and dude, I was like hitting everybody up. I was like, go subscribe, go subscribe. And I remember I had some reason I had like 2 subscribers already on my channel. I don't know where they came from. But like in one day, it like jumped up to like 40 subscribers. And I was like, no way.
I've made it. I've made
Yeah.
it.
And then after that, I would just text even more people. I was like, come on. I was like, just go subscribe. You don't even have to watch the video. I was like,
Yeah.
just subscribe. And so then I ended up hitting like 100 subscribers after I think the first 2 videos.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, dang, I was like, that's pretty good. Because everybody
Mm-hmm.
was telling me, they were like, man, there's no way. At the golf course, especially, like some of my friends were like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm just filming myself.
Dude, yeah, I can imagine. It's like you, like anybody who watches like any influencer, but especially in the golf space, like you see this like cool production and like it looks very normal. But I like you can only imagine like what the behind the scenes actually looks like. You have all of these cameras set up on it. Like anybody who plays golf, like it would be very, very weird to see, you know,
Oh
a
yeah.
bunch of guys or like someone carrying a tripod out there setting it up before each shot.
Oh yeah.
It takes a lot of boldness to be able to like just like step out there and be like, you know what, I'm just pursuing something because I'm going to see where it goes and doing it anyways.
Yeah. And it's still like when you carry around a camera, people just look at you. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
automatic.
yeah,
It's just everybody's just like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, this is what I do for work. And they're like, seriously? But it's so funny. But yeah, like after I did those first few videos, that's when it kind of went into 2021. And during that, I kind of told myself that's when I started videoing like the tournament vlogs
yeah.
at Truett. And this is when
Oh
like
yeah,
the channel kind of started growing a lot. And I was like, I remember sitting there at a tournament. It was like first tournament. I was like, I saw it jump up like 50 subscribers in one day. And I was like, dude, what happened?
yeah.
And then I told myself that year, I was like, you know what? If I get 1,000 subscribers, I'll do it for the whole entire year and the next year. And so
So
then it,
what year in school were you when you started?
so that was December when I posted that. That was December 2020. So 2021 was the COVID year.
Yeah,
And so the spring semester, I was getting my master's degree because I had to.
yeah.
And
Same.
so yeah, so that was the spring of my COVID year.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's really when I told myself I was going to buckle down and just be consistent and do at least one a week
Hmm.
for the whole entire year. So 52 videos. And so I just started week by week, man. And then, some weeks are better than others, but
Hmm.
it just started ticking away. And then I think I remember May, it was like May, really around this time of that year
Yeah.
that I got my first 1,000 subscribers.
So you hit 1,000
And
in
like a
so what,
few
about
months, like,
six months.
yeah. So really the tournament vlogs helped out a ton. Just people wanting to see the college scene of
Hmm.
tournament golf. And so, but then that opened up a whole new thing. And I was like, now I got to create content
Yeah.
because that's documenting and it's a lot easier than just to go out there and create something right off the mind. And it's
Yeah.
like, man, because I don't want to do something that everybody else has done because it just gets repetitive and you can't
Hmm.
stand. So yeah, I mean that's where it all began, man. And so then later that year I kind of created Sandbagger. And you see the Sandbagger right there.
Yeah, we got a little Sandbagger merch representing a little bit. So yeah, let's dive into that. So did you was the idea behind when you first created Sandbagger, was it saying, "Hey, this is an opportunity for me to monetize like the following I'm creating," or was it always like when you created it, were you trying to go all in on Sandbagger, or was the plan always to kind of have separate personal brand and then golf apparel brand?
So yeah, I mean, so in the beginning, I kind of wanted it separate
Yeah.
because just in case of anything, like I could have Sandbagger over here
Mm-hmm.
in my personal brand. So like I have sponsors under my personal brand, but then I have Sandbagger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just more of monetization overall.
Mm-hmm.
So you can pretty much just have better revenue. And that was a system that I wanted to create back then. And so, yeah, so August of that same year is when I created it and kind of dropped everything. And that's really, I was probably around 2,000 subscribers or so. And that's when I saw like actual revenue come in. And I was like, no
It's
freaking
got to be
way.
such a good feeling.
Like just that first order coming in. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm rich. I was like, let's go. It was far from it too. And I
Yeah.
was like, because during this time, like, I mean, I was door dashing, like, just hustling on
Yeah.
the side hustles, man.
Yeah.
Because YouTube, it's so inconsistent. I mean, I was making like a couple $100 or something like that every month.
Just
So I had
off
to,
just off like ad spin.
yeah, just add revenue.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this ain't gonna pay the bills or
Yeah.
anything, really. Barely paid the gas.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to do something else. So I was door dashing, selling stuff. And so then I started Sandbagger. And then, like, that first day, like, it was a pretty big launch for what I had.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did was I pre-ordered so that I didn't have to spend it up front
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, dude, I don't want to spend 2 grand up front.
On shirts and hoodies when I don't even know if
Yeah,
people are gonna buy them.
seriously. And a lot of people do that. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised. They take that leap and then they have a ton of inventory and they just can't sell it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I started that. But yeah, I definitely wanted to kind of keep it separate and just grow my personal brand along with Sandbagger, kind of like two and two together
Mm-hmm.
so that, if one day Sandbagger did get higher, then my personal brand, you could either go either or
Yeah.
whatever way you want to go, you could do.
So has Sandbagger kind of grown in the direction that you always envisioned, or have you made some pivots along the way?
So I've made a few pivots along the way because you kind of live and learn like what's gonna sell, what doesn't really sell.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've learned that shirts are hard to sell, like a lot of shirts.
Yeah.
But hats, people get their hats dirty. People, I mean, they like new colored hats. But shirts, I mean, if you make a good shirt, they're probably only going to buy like maybe two or three of them.
Yeah.
And they usually wear those throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
So that's what I learned, like just doing that, what sizes to get. I mean, there's so many things you just
Mm-hmm.
learn along the way that nobody even tells you. And so that's like one of the biggest things that, I mean, with entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
you really do learn as you go.
For sure. For sure. And like you learn what works, what doesn't work. Like in that, like you have to be able to, you have to be able to pivot with what's going on, what the market's telling you,
Oh yeah.
and just what your audience is telling you as well.
Yeah.
So would you say the audience is very like, do you have a separate audience between the two, or are they pretty in line?
They're pretty in line. I
Yeah.
would say some people buy it because of me. Some people they just like the brand and they
Yeah.
have no idea who I am. Like, for instance, at the pro shop at Providence
Yeah.
I play at, they sell it in there. And it's
Hmm.
so funny. I love to do this. People like they'll buy it and then they'll be wearing it outside. I'm like, dude, that's a sick hat. They're like, thanks, man. And I'm like, they have no idea. And it's so funny. I love doing that.
Do you ever like how have you like come into someone in public wearing like sandbagger gear that you like didn't like have no relationship with?
Oh yeah. Like somebody was wearing that hoodie one day and I was like, dude, I love your hoodie. And they're like, thanks, man. And I'm just like, no freaking way, man.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. What about people like do you get recognized on courses ever now that you're kind of starting to grow as far as your personal brand?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'll tell you, like the first time it ever like hit me is we went on a vacation up to Pigeon Forge
Hmm.
and I think we were eating at the Chop House or something. I get
Yeah.
out of the car. As soon as I get out of the car, somebody's like, Luke Peavy. And I was like, they're like, my parents are like, do you know him? And I was like, I have no idea who that is. And they're like, dude, I watch your channel. And I was like, no way. And so like,
Yeah.
dude, it was like, even this past week, I went to Costco and somebody's like, are you Luke Peavy? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm just like, it's so like different because these people know a lot about your lives.
Yeah.
Like they see the golf side of things. And
Hmm.
so like they really do believe that they kind of know you. And
Yeah.
it's you can kind of sense it. I kind of now like the amount of people that come up, I can sense like they watch me because number one, they're staring at me. And then and then they'll ask like, am I Luke Peavy? And it's so funny. And you know, I just treat them as a friend because I'm like, man, you spent a lot of time watching me.
Yeah. That's
So
so cool. And like I think it's really cool for where you're at right now because I feel like you're like at this beginning stage of like just starting to actually get like a serious following
yeah,
to where you are kind of starting to be this recognizable face. And you got the long blonde hair, so it's easy to
yeah, it
recognize.
helped.
Is that, I mean, did you think about that being like part of your brand? Like, all right, I'm going to be this recognizable guy. Oh, you've always had the locks, but
Yeah.
is that part of your brand, would you say?
I'd say one piece of it because it's just when you see a person with long blonde hair, it just kind of stands out.
Yeah.
Like my fiance, she's like, "Do you want to like cut it a little bit for the wedding?" And I was like, "I mean, I'll go probably to here."
Yeah.
I couldn't cut it all off.
Yeah.
I was like,
No,
nobody
no
would
one would
even know
recognize you
what.
anymore.
It's
So
like
what
my guy.
just kind of like where's your time at? Or actually, one thing I wanted to go back and ask. So like as you started to like kind of take action and like figure out what your content strategy was going to be as you were starting to have to create your content. I remember one time because I was like I was like staying in tune with what was going on and like what the
Yeah,
content you were putting out. And I was watching because I knew you, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of cool to see one of my buddies getting on YouTube and putting himself out there like this. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, because I didn't realize you were like blowing up or anything yet, and all of a
yeah,
sudden, I see you getting around with Micah, and I
yeah,
remember you flew out to Dallas and did that, and
yeah,
like I was like I turned into a golf fanatic over COVID, and like I
yeah,
loved golf growing up. I was never any good, and I knew baseball was about to come to an end, and I loved golf, so I was like, all right, it's time to go all in. And I for as much as I play, I should be better than I am, but that's true with most people. But I remember, like, so I was watching a ton of YouTube golf, and Micah was a guy that I was following a ton, and I
yeah,
see. I see the headline or the thumbnail and the title of the
yeah.
video. I'm like, no way. And I look, and then I remember like the first time he came on your channel, I'm like, how did this even happen? So like how did something did you just like try like just shoot your shot and like slide into his DM something, be like, hey, let's get
Yeah.
around in and video it?
So, see, at that same time, Busted Jack was kind of coming up too.
Yeah.
And so they were coming up. And so like I was hitting up a lot of people on Instagram. And
Hmm.
back then my Instagram following wasn't as big. And so I mean it's still not that big. It's like 12K or something. But
Okay.
it's like I mean I probably had like 2,000 followers. So it's
Yeah.
like when you see somebody in your inbox and they have like 2,000 followers and like let's film something, usually that you're like, who is this?
Yeah.
And like, but he actually, the way that worked, he did watch my channel, which helped out a lot. So he would like, I remember he was watching my channel like when I was playing qualifiers. And I think it's because he's kind of competitive and
Yeah.
he wanted to see like who else is kind of playing tournament golf and stuff. And so yeah, I just hit him up on Instagram and also Busted Jack because I knew they were out in Texas.
Hmm.
and it just happened. I was like, all right, are you for real that if I book this plane ticket, that you're gonna be there? Because I mean, the influencer space is so bad about flaking.
Yeah,
I'm talking like bad.
I
And
can
so
imagine.
I'm not that way. I'm like, dude, if I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna meet you there, I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right. I was like, I'm about to purchase a $700 flight. And like, dude, at the time, I was like, all right, the video, it will make up the ad revenue.
Yeah.
That's what I was banking on.
Yeah.
And
This is an
so
investment.
it was, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And so he's like, yeah, man. And he said I should be free that day. And I was like, please be free that day.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so I booked the flight, I book a hotel, and I had to get a rental car. And so I do all this, and I literally was gonna be there for one day. And so like I flew in that afternoon, on like a Thursday afternoon. He said a Friday, and Busted Jack, they were like, yeah, we'll film maybe Friday morning at the same course, and then Micah will come after. And they have the same agent.
Hmm.
So they kind of got on that golf course. And so it was the day before, and I was like, man, what do I do? Like I had a whole day, and like I didn't know what I was just chilling, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, there's nothing to do. And so I hit up Grant, and I was like, Grant, I was because he kind of went back and forth a few times,
Yeah.
and because I was trying to do something with him, I was just going all out since
Yeah.
everybody was there at the time.
Yeah.
And this is actually when everything was going down, like with the good,
Yep.
everything. And so, yeah, Grant, I texted him. I was like, hey, man, like, would you want to get a bite to eat or something? And he was like, yeah, man. He's like, yeah, sure. And so then he's just like, oh, actually, I can't. I got to catch a flight to go out to Pebble Beach or something. And I was like, what the heck? And so,
Last minute flight to Pebble.
yeah, he's like, yeah, my manager just called me, and I was like, dang, dude. I said, you big time. And
Yeah.
so then like he actually does. I was at a Dunkin' Donuts, and he swings by, and we talk for a little bit, and that's when he was pretty much telling me like, hey man, I'm leaving good. And I was like, what the heck? I was like, I was not expecting you to tell me that.
Wow.
And so, but he's a good guy. He's definitely, I mean, that at that time he had like 100,000 subscribers, and
Yeah,
now
he was huge.
I mean, he is blown up since that time.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, I mean, I went out there, filmed with Busted Jack the next day on their channel, and that was
Hmm.
the day they actually hit 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I
That's
was
sick.
I was sitting there, I had like probably 12K at the time, and
What are you at
they
now?
I'm at 19. It's kind
Okay.
of not as grown as much as I want, but
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm at the beginning stages, which it's
Yeah.
so weird because I've done it for these last years, but it
Yeah.
still feels like I don't know. I feel like the time just hasn't even come yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I filmed with Micah and everything, and dude, it was pretty surreal to like him just sit there, and he's like, dude, I love your videos. And I'm just like, what? And then like even throughout the whole last years and everything, like just meeting everybody in the whole golf space, and they're like,
Hmm.
yeah, dude, I love your videos. I watch them all the time. I'm like, what in the world?
Is it
It's
weird to consider yourself kind of like part of that crowd at this point?
Oh yeah. And like a big when I went to that good tournament this past
Yeah.
February, dude, that was like
Tell me about that. What was that experience like?
that was unreal because like, I've seen a few people come up to me, but when like almost everybody is up there like, PV, what's up?
Yeah.
Screaming at you, and I was like, "What in the world?"
Was
And
the
playing,
vibe was the vibe because it was a night round, wasn't it?
yeah, it was a night,
Was the
and
vibe
yeah,
pretty electric?
oh, dude, it was, and dude, I was pumped with adrenaline on that
Yeah.
first tee. I was like, I've never played in. I mean, there was probably 1,000, 2,000 people on that first hole,
Wow.
and I was like, I mean,
Don't
never.
snap hook one, dear God.
No, dude, I thinned it right over the green, just
Was it a par three?
yeah, it was all of them. I think,
Oh, it was
well,
a
there's
par three
two par
course.
fours, yeah, but
Yeah.
luckily for me, I did. we had like a 30 footer on the first hole, and I drained it. And dude, that
Oh
feeling,
no, that's sick.
dude, it was like, come on, dude, it was so sick.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
so cool.
getting to know everybody is it's been really cool, and just seeing those people you see on the screen and actually meeting them in person, it's kind of it is cool.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, it's kind of cool to see how it's grown and evolved over time, and you've kind of navigated, having the content from the competitive route in college to being this creator. And like obviously, you see the quality of the production, the mics, the videos, the lenses. Like it all
But yeah,
it all evolves over time.
it
Did
does.
you? How were you? Because I know you said you kind of had some sort of understanding of it going into it. Like how has your like knowledge of the producing, the editing, how has all that evolved over time?
A lot.
Yeah.
So I mean, so first starting out, like, I was just on my iPhone, which, I mean, nothing against the iPhone. I think it's great now because,
Yeah.
I mean, so easy and the
Hmm.
phones are really good. If you just want to start out, just use your phone,
Yeah.
like, because it's the best thing that you can get for your money. And, but yeah, like doing the editing, that's where you learn the most. And that's really one of the biggest creative parts about it is editing because that's where you tell the story.
Hmm.
And that's where you kind of direct the way you kind of want it to go. And most of mine, I mean, I post all my rounds, so it's all real. But like some people, they kind of fudge some of the stuff. But
Does
I'm
that
not.
so is that a real thing in the space?
That is a real thing
Yeah, because I'm
because
sure everybody wonders that. Just like, all right, how many shots did they how many shots did they take before they put up that one on that video?
hell yeah, it's a real thing. And see, I don't do it on my channel because I'm just like, dude, I ain't doing that because I play
Yeah.
competitive golf. I'm like, you're
When I
gonna see.
think it shows because like when you're playing your good golf it shows, and then some of the tournament rounds, because like when you step back into playing competitive golf, obviously the nerves are
Oh
just
yeah,
so they hit different. So like you'll throw up some scores that are like mid 80s, and it's just like
yeah.
God, but it's like it shows the realness and rawness of like being able to put something out there that's not fake, that's real.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people like that watch my channel, they like that because like a lot of junior golfers watch my channel,
Hmm.
and so their parents they like them to see that
Yeah,
because you're not just seeing all this, oh, I
perfection.
won it, I won a qualifier, and then the
Yeah,
next time they post, oh, I won another qualifier instead of, I mean, heck, I shot an 82.
yeah.
But that's where you learn. I mean, it's from your where you failed is
Hmm.
really what you learn. And so,
Dude, that's
yeah,
a principle that I feel. I mean, I've always been a huge believer in that principle. Is like winning is great, and like succeeding is great, and like that's what ultimately what you work and strive for. But like at the end of the day, we don't learn anything from our wins. We don't learn anything from our successes. It's kind of
yeah,
in those failures, and like putting yourself out there adds a whole another element to the game. It's like this is going out there for everyone to see. So it's not just you
oh
coping with
yeah,
your failure, but it's you coping with your failure along with 19,000 people that are going to be seeing
yeah,
it the next day.
yeah. That is one thing. Like when you're sitting there that you're trying to, I mean, just get rid of. It's like, man, this is going to be a video, and everybody's going to see exactly
Yeah.
what I do. And
Does that
so,
does that change like how you stand over a shot? You're like, okay, I know this is on. Especially when I'm sure it probably doesn't anymore, but when you
yeah,
first
you
started
used to,
filming,
yeah, because I was like, dude, I gotta post a good score at least.
yeah,
Something, like reasonable. But yeah, so the editing, I mean, it definitely everything's kind of gone up over the past years as, I got a better camera and then got better audio, just kind of learning how stories work, learning what angles are better than others.
how do you learn that? Is it just kind of through like YouTube University? Or are you paying for
Yeah.
courses, or what does that look like?
So I did get a few courses on kind of storytelling,
Hmm.
on editing processes, and
What
then
courses? Anything people would know?
Uh, so I did this. It was Logan Paul's actually editor back in the day.
Okay.
And I actually liked a lot of his work because it was pretty sick. But I
Yeah.
didn't. He edited for Logan Paul, so it doesn't really mean much. But he made Logan look a lot better than he was.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, man, he's pretty good. So yeah, I took a course through him, and then I've taken a few other courses. I don't remember which ones, but
Hmm.
that's one I remember, and just everything kind of coming together. And that's kind of what, like, you'll see the Mr. Beast, and like he's in your face, but he's actually started to implement a lot more story into his videos now, like emotion. And like that's what a lot of them don't do, like in the golf space. It's just more
Yeah.
of play 9 holes with me. And so they're like, okay, I played 9 holes with you, but I just kind of like the story of it, especially during tournament golf.
Mhm.
I mean, it's easy to kind of express what you're feeling because, like, I mean, that's what you're feeling in the moment. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, just doing editing day by day and, video by video. And it's just like your podcast. Like, I can see from here, it's your quality's already gone up over the past months and
Yeah.
year. And so you can tell, like, you want to become better and just get better at everything you do, and especially if you're passionate about it. And yeah, so yeah, everything just kind of goes up a little bit more and more. But the biggest thing I've learned is like the story of what you do it's big, because that's what people remember, is stories. They don't really remember anything else.
Yeah. Dude, there's a huge, I love that mindset of how can you capture the story and what you're doing, and like how can you portray that story in a compelling and like interesting way where it's going to engage the audience.
Yeah.
And part of that comes with, how like the quality, the editing, and that's kind of where all of that really lies. But I love to hear kind of the evolution of all of that, because that's really one of my big philosophies behind Take a Step. Essentially, is like you started when you had like this general idea of, this is I kind of know what I would do. I don't have like all the pieces together, but I'm just gonna
Yeah.
kind of like say screw it and start and put myself out there. And how it's grown along the way. I mean, it's been 4 years, and you still say you feel like you're at the beginning, but like
Yeah.
you've obviously built up 19,000 people who said yes, I want access to what he's doing.
Yeah.
Um, through his YouTube channel, and then obviously it's going to continue to grow over time. But it all started with just starting, not knowing if you had everything. Buying $700 plane tickets to go out and play with
Yeah.
someone who you hope is going to show up, because you're just taking action and saying yes. Starting investing in courses because you want to continue to invest in yourself because you see the returns that are going to come. It's just all of these little steps over time have built up to what you've created now, and I think that's so cool. I mean, do you feel like that? Can you feel that kind of process and how it's evolved with both, Luke Peavy Golf and Sandbagger over time?
Hell yeah. I mean, it's definitely in the beginning stages. And to me, the beginning stages are so fun.
Mm.
Like, I think that is like one of the most fun things, because like you have no idea, man.
Yeah.
And it's like you're so innocent to everything, and like you don't know too much, but you're just so excited to do anything. Like you just want to do something. And
Mm.
especially when you take that step and you're like, all right, here we go, we're going. And you just go, and just for me, it was making videos and just editing. I mean, I remember just sitting there, like, really, I wasn't doing my master's homework. I was mostly just editing my videos and filming videos. Like, I don't even know what I made on like my last semester, because we made it to the Natty, and then after that, I was like, it's whatever, man. I made it here, so I didn't even look at the grades. And so,
Really?
yeah, as long as I
That's
was
so
thankful
funny.
for that, I was like, I'm good to go. So, yeah, I mean, just grinding on that, and just, I remember sitting there and just, I remember those days, and those are really cool. And I love like new beginnings, and just, I feel like a lot of people, when they get stagnant, maybe just kind of start a new beginning, and just like, if you need that excitement,
Hmm.
it doesn't last forever, but that's when consistency comes in, and just kind of discipline. But yeah, I mean, just going throughout it. And I'll give you a story. Like, my dad's a pastor, and we met, it was a church plant. And so we met in a school, no joke. for 12 years. 12 years at setting up and tearing down every week. I think they did the math. It was like 650 times. And
Jeez.
this Sunday is the first time that we're meeting in our actual building and we started the process of
So
like
y'all,
building.
so started it when we were, so we're
It was
25,
in,
26 now. So when we were,
dude, it
geez,
was
when we were
20.
13, 12 years old.
Yeah, seriously. And
Golly.
so 2011 was like the first ever meeting in that school. And then, so we had to take like, there was a point, and I know my dad, like, and when you're doing that for that many, I mean, that's a whole decade,
Yeah.
a decade of doing that. And you haven't even built your first building, which is crazy. I don't know if anybody's ever else like done this for that many years. I mean, it's really I mean, it's God because
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't have ever sustained for that long in a school. So, yeah, like last 2 years ago, he had to make a decision, and it was, I mean, are we going to continue to meet in the school forever, or are we going to kind of leap out in faith? And like they had to get a loan
Mm-hmm.
to like start it, and some of the people they didn't want to get in debt
Yeah.
or that loan, but my dad was like, I mean, I feel like this is the time because it's now. I mean, you can't just sit in a school
Yeah.
that long
Mm-hmm.
because you can't even do anything except for Sunday morning 9 to 12.
Yeah.
So yeah, they started. So he stepped out and he prayed about it a lot and ended up started the building fund and like I think they raised like 300,000. And so that was, enough to get it started.
Yeah.
And so started getting it started, but along the way, people started coming in,
Mm-hmm.
like donating. I mean, like big money, like 100,000 donations. And so,
Jeez.
like, it just kind of reminds me of like when you step out, like when you're sitting there, you don't have the I mean, me and you are the only ones that have the vision for what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, when you have that vision, nobody else can see it. And like when you're sitting there and you're like, you got to take that leap, man, and
Mm-hmm.
that faith. I mean, that's what I think is you got to take action with faith, and because it's a beautiful thing, especially I mean, if you're a believer and you have God, like, and you have a peace about it. But like just seeing the people, they eventually will come along and believe in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so he ended up, I mean, everybody started coming together and like helping out. And so this Sunday is going to be the first time we ever meet in that building. And it gives me hope because I'm like, I mean, that was 10 years, but it's still that the church is just beginning
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's just in a church, like
Dude,
just
I
in
mean, you
a
talk about
building.
trusting the process. Like that's such a that's a really really cool story, and like I love kind of hearing you talk about like we're the only ones that really know what it is that we know our vision. Like
Yeah.
you are the only one that knows your vision. And until you actually do something about it and start producing a consistent track record, like no one's gonna, it's very rare that you take action on your vision for the first time and you have this massive following who like
Yeah.
everyone is like on board and believes in what you're doing with you because you have to go if you want to go out and create something for yourself, you're going to have to put in a lot of grunt work. A lot of people saying that it's a lot of people not believing in
Yeah.
you, thinking what you're doing is crazy. But over time, as the result starts to get a little bit better, because when you first start, the result's not going to be good. It's just not.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
go through a certain period of sucking at what you're doing in order to learn how to actually do it good. And then the fruits from that are people then believing in you and believing in the vision that you had from the get-go.
Yeah.
That's a cool story about the church, though, because that's,
Crazy, man.
you look at, when I just think back, like, when I was 12 years old, like, or 13 years old, that's when like the it was first getting started, and like it feels I don't even remember half of what I was doing when I was 13 years old. So
Yeah.
like just like trusting in that process to say, hey, like I'm gonna withstand the next decade because I
Yeah.
know I believe in this vision, and I believe that God's doing something through this church, and we actually have an opportunity to reach people and change
Yeah.
lives. And that kind of I want to pivot a little bit to obviously like on that conversation. You've
Yeah.
been outspoken with your faith through as you've kind of grown and built your brand. Have you reached a point to where you've gotten any pushback on that in the past?
Yeah, I mean, most people they always have an opinion. Everybody
Yeah,
has one. But like it's not like I'm overly
yeah,
like spiritual on my channel,
hmm
but I don't mention it. It's not
yeah,
like I'm just like beating you with a Bible, as somebody will say on
yeah,
my. They're like, you're beating us with a Bible right now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude.
yeah. Just because I'm sorry I can't mention what like just what
Yeah,
like who I am.
yeah. And so yeah, I've had. I mean, it's very few, but the
hmm
funniest thing is like it'll be a 15-minute video.
hmm
It's maybe 10 to 30 seconds of the video, and that's what they point out. And so, for me, I'm just like, I mean, man, they need help.
Yeah,
That's if that's what they're pulling out of this video. I mean, but really, what I've gotten away from it is the amount of I've gotten more DMs about that than I have really anything.
yeah,
It's people being encouraging about it, like saying, I'm glad that you actually proclaim God in your videos because nobody else really does it in the golf
hmm
space. And they're like, that's somebody I want my kids to watch instead of somebody over here who's just goofing off and cussing and
yeah,
just doing this other stuff.
yeah.
And
That's
so,
cool.
but yeah, it is really cool when I get those messages and I'm just like, even if it was just for that, I mean, that's good enough for me. So
Yeah, it's got to be a fulfilling feeling just knowing like like that isn't really like what you had in mind as far as the purpose, but you're just kind of taking action on a passion. But like
yeah,
when that happens, it's like, dang, this is like it. I'm serving a greater purpose than just myself.
yeah. And it's helped along like in these last few years. I mean, my relationship with God's definitely gotten a lot stronger. And that's one thing is, I mean, I started reading the Bible every day 3 years ago.
hmm
So every day I continued and prayed. But yeah, just consistency of doing that. I mean, it's been huge. Anything you do consistent,
Yeah,
I mean, the dividends are just huge in the long run. And so highly recommend doing that because it is life changing because I mean, especially when like kind of when I'm seeing on the internet, you can see all the comments and everything, and everybody's like they're either gonna love you or hate you. I mean, it's simple.
hmm
But for the people that are hating, I don't really pay them much attention, but I'm like, you know what? I, they probably do need some help. And like seriously, like they need God for real.
yeah.
But yeah,
So as you just kind of as we kind of navigate, kind of come to a little bit of a close. What advice would you give to someone who's at the point in their life where they're saying, "Hey, like I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, and I have some passions, but like, 'cause I feel like like everyone reaches a point at some point in their life, usually kind of in the early stages when they're starting to figure out what it is they actually want to do with their life, where they're saying,
yeah,
here's what, is normal. Here's what seems normal and what the world would tell me to do, whether if it's, you know, fall in line in a corporate setting and then work their way up and, just do something that, it makes sense, but it may not bring total fulfillment. And then they kind of can find themselves in a situation where they're kind of dreading the day to day. Like what kind of advice would you give to someone that's like wanting to take action on a true passion, but is kind of worried about what that would actually look like?
yeah. So I feel like a lot of people when they do it, it's the security part of it. So like they're holding on to that, trying to be secure of, money, whether it be Like they don't want to just lose that position or anything. And so, what I would recommend if you're in that situation of somebody who is kind of in the day-to-day office and wants to do their own thing and wants to do like their own passion and kind of business, I would recommend just starting it off. Just do it as a side thing. Just start it as a side thing. And once you get to the point to where you build it up and you can see, I would say just a little bit of monetization.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big on taking risk. And
Okay.
so I would say like if you're making 1,000, 2,000 bucks a month off that side, I would say to go all in on that because I mean, you just never know. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I just love just kind of taking that risk. And because I'm like, the risk to me would be, or just to stay in that one position would be more of a risk than to take the risk
Yeah.
because I'd rather just see what this leads down. And it's interesting because like even like me doing what I do, it's opened up so many more opportunities to do things I wouldn't even think of. And so like when you
Mm-hmm.
follow your passion, I mean, there's definitely so many pros that come along with it. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's cons to it. It can be lonely because you're by yourself and you don't have a team around you. And that's what I recommend becoming friends with people who would encourage you to kind of step out and kind of keep you accountable because that's your passion. And so just keep on going and definitely having a good peer group
Yeah.
a ton. And that's what I have now, kind of with some of my friends in the YouTube golf space. And they teach you so much because most of them have been through it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they know, and they're far steps ahead of me. And so, yeah, I just say take the risk when you feel like that time is coming and you're sitting there and you're like, man, you'll know when the time feels right.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there'll be pushback. Like, you'll be like, I just don't think I can do it. But when the time is right, you'll know. And you're either going to stay or you're going to jump and go for it.
Yeah. I think I heard a quote a couple months ago. It's like the biggest risk is not taking any risk at all. And that
Yeah,
kind of
it
goes back
is.
to what you were saying because like if like I would much rather take the risk and fail and then because you can always go back to working your way back up in some
Oh,
other
yeah.
system. Like that's always an option. If you have if you got yourself to a point in one system and you decided to step out and leave, there's another system that's
Oh,
waiting
yeah.
for you with an entry level role that you can work your way up again. So like that opportunity is always going to be there. But if you never take the risk and figure out what this passion could actually bring, then like that what sounds much more risky to me is always like continuing in that system, continuing to feel unfulfilled, and always wondering what if I would have taken that risk. What if
Yeah.
that would happen? Like the risk of actually living life, all never knowing what life could have been like, what that could have produced. That's 1,000 times more scary to me than it would be to
Oh, yeah.
actually take a risk and it not pay off.
It is, man. It's tough to just see yourself. That just comes from, I mean, you'll just know. You just gotta sometimes you gotta take risk in life, man. Because
Yeah.
I mean you only get one life here on Earth, that's for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm like. I'm just like, I might as well go ahead and do this because it's gonna be hard, but I'd rather do that. I'd rather do something that's a little hard that I'm passionate about than just sit in the office and be bored at my
Mm-hmm.
mind. It's Dude, I couldn't do it. I
Yeah.
just couldn't do it. Especially when I've experienced the freedom of the time and I can do what I want, like be here today
Mm-hmm.
and talking to you. I mean, just doing that is, to me, it's priceless.
Yeah, yeah, I
It
agree.
is.
I agree. Time is our most valuable asset. I'm a
It
huge believer
is.
in that. So what's next for you? What's next on your radar as far as what are you looking to accomplish? Whether if it's follower numbers, big opportunities you have in front of you to kind of take another step in the right direction? What's next on your radar?
Yeah. So right now it's going into tournament season. So I'll be doing a lot of kind of documentation stuff
Hmm.
going for the summer wise. And so, but for numbers wise, I kind of want to get more consistent on kind of all platforms to kind of go up.
Yeah.
You'll see every once in a while somebody will come up and they just kind of explode, even though they may have been there for a while. But it's like the Bryan Bros, they kind of
Yeah.
jumped up these last year or two. But just I feel like there's somebody that's gonna do it. And so I'm like,
Might as well
hey,
be me, baby.
it's gotta be me. I mean, God King did it last year too. He kind of blew up a little bit, but
Hmm.
see, some people get luckier than others, but it's okay because I mean, the more you do something, the luckier you get.
Yeah.
So I'm just doing that and just keep on creating different types of content, exploring because you don't want to stay stagnant and just keep on creating the same stuff if it's not working. I'm just like, well, need to pivot and do something else. And so, yeah, that's mainly that for my personal brand and just kind of keep on being consistent and building like better engagement with the people that watch me. And then Sandbagger, just keep on making pretty quality or just quality stuff. That's
Hmm.
one thing I like is quality. I don't want it to like
Yeah.
be bad. Like I've had times to where the hat, I just did not like it. And like I ordered like 100 of them and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I can't even, I don't even want this. And so I just toss it and it's like
Yeah.
800 bucks down the drain. And I'm like,
Have you ever sold a product and you're like, dang it, like I was not a fan of that.
uh, I don't think so. I'd say, I mean, one, I have a towel, but I mean, towels are kind of hard to mess up, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was all right. I wasn't like, this is a sick towel. It was more
Yeah.
like, it's a good towel. But they just kind of printed the logo like this huge, and I was like, I wanted a little bit smaller,
Yeah.
but I did end up selling those, but they're
Hmm.
still good, but just what I didn't want it.
Yeah. I
But yeah,
gotcha.
that's pretty much it.
Nice. Well, where can the people let the people know where they can follow along with what you're growing and what you're building, so they can kind of add up that subscriber number, add up that follower number, and just kind of keep in touch with you.
Yeah, so everything is just under Luke Peavy Golf. So if you search that on pretty much anything, it'll come up. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. And just you can either like and subscribe or follow the journey,
Yeah.
whatever you want to do, whatever platforms you guys do anything on. That's where I'm at.
Nice. Y'all
And
go.
also everybody listen to Take a Step right here
Yeah.
and follow his journey.
Also, Sandbagger Golf Co. Got some good merch. Got some quality hoodies. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I got this hoodie, I was like, it was like putting on butter. Like it
Oh
was
yeah.
so silky. Like it felt
Dude.
amazing. Got a hoodie. Got a hat. I still need to grab a couple golf shirts. So I need to jump on that train.
Yeah.
So what kind of products you got right now on your product line?
So I still have some shirts. I'm working on some new ones, and
Mhm.
then I have mostly a lot of hats. And so that's one of my biggest sellers is the hats. People love
Mhm.
the hats, kind of the rope look. And then trying to see what I got over there. Some some head covers, but I'm out of the driver head covers, so I got some more coming on the way. So
Nice.
yeah, so I think one of the things I got is I'm gonna do scorecard holders.
Oh,
So
nice.
for tournament golf, a lot of people like to where they have their scorecard in their little
Hmm.
like leather pouch kind of thing. And so I'm
Nice.
working on one of those. But yeah, just kind of sticking to what works and just keep on going off of that. And, also just diving into some new products too.
Nice. It's exciting, man. Well, hey, I've enjoyed catching up, enjoyed the
Yes,
conversation,
sir.
enjoyed learning a little bit more about your journey and like that the whole mindset behind just kind of stepping out in faith and stepping out and
Yeah.
trusting your vision, betting on yourself and taking action on that. I think a lot of people can learn a lot from it, and I think a lot
Yeah.
of people will learn a lot from it. So thank you for coming on. I hope you've gotten
No,
as much
thanks for
value out
having
of
me,
the
man.
confirmation I have.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a
Awesome.
pleasure.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Take a Step podcast. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a rating, leave a review, whichever platform you're listening on. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Check out Luke on all of his social media. Buy some Sandbagger gear, and we will catch you in the next episode. Peace.